Hi guys, as I promised, look at what we have today. For so long we've been looking for this soundbar to review, and I'm very proud to have it right with me today. This is the JBL Bar 1000 soundbar. The 1000 does not stand for the total wattage of this particular bar, but that's just the model number. It's the one that has detachable speakers. We have two of them, two detachable rear surround speakers. Just have a look at how simple this guy is. The subwoofer is quite big. Remember, most of us have that notion whereby the bigger the subwoofer, the bigger the driver of the subwoofer, the deeper the bass will be. By the end of this video, we'll be able to confirm if that is true, because most of the soundbars we've reviewed, Samsung, be it Sony, be it from LG, they have smaller subwoofer as compared to the one that I have here. I think this is the biggest so far I've come across. It's a very big subwoofer, and even the size of the bar, it's quite bigger than what I've witnessed in all the other bars that I've reviewed. So we have here a soundbar with a total wattage of 880 watts total output power. We have 300 watts on this subwoofer, which is quite massive. 300 watts on such a big subwoofer, it's quite massive, guys. And then the bar itself, the bar without these two surround speakers, the total output power from the bar is 440 watts, and then these two surround speakers have output power of 70 watts each. Nonetheless, this is a 7.14 channel soundbar. And what does that mean? We have 7 drivers right here on the main bar, and inclusive of the speakers we have right over here. When the rear speakers or the surround speakers are plugged onto the main bar, we'll be having a total of 7 forward firing speakers, and then we have a total of 4 upward firing speakers, 2 on top of the main bar, and then 2 on top of this left surround speaker, and then the other one on the right surround speaker. So we have a total of 4 upward firing speakers, and then total 7 downward firing speakers, and then the 1 stands for the subwoofer, so that makes it 7.14. I know you're wondering why the 4 speakers and why the setup. The 4 speakers are mainly for Dolby Atmos capabilities, because without those speakers, then Dolby Atmos capabilities are not possible for such a soundbar. And that's why in most of the mediocre soundbars that we've been reviewing, I call them mediocre because they don't have the Dolby Atmos effect on them. They do not have those set up for upward firing speakers. The upward firing speakers have been designed so that whenever you're listening to Dolby supported format content, you'll be able to have that 3D experience, whereby you not only get to listen to sound coming straight or horizontally towards you, but now you'll be getting to listen to sound coming from all the other parts of the room, because the upward firing speakers will be directing the sound to the rooftop or the ceiling of where you are, then they drop back to your ears at better listening position. So this is the JBL Bar 1000, and let's get straight into the review of this particular guy. I hope you'll enjoy the review, and just before I get into it, don't forget to subscribe to this account, because this is the home of such tech reviews. And don't forget to subscribe, don't forget to leave a like on this particular video. So let's get straight into it. So that is how the setup looks like. We have the subwoofer, we have the main bar, we have these 2 surround speakers. I've actually detached them. Let me just put them back. Just have a look. They're magnetic. Yeah. Let me just place them back. I hope when I place them back, the other side won't fall apart. And yeah, that's the clip. You see now it's indicating red to get that it's connected. And then this other side, let me just place this one too. Yeah, I think now our setup is complete. We have a very long bar, and remember guys, even without these rear surround speakers detached, the bar is still quite long. We have close to, I think, almost a meter here on the bar without these other surround speakers. So it's quite long and it's quite thick. Have a look at the top of it. So this is where we have the upward firing speakers. We have one here for Dolby Atmos specifically, one here, another one here, and then On this other side we have one here, one here. That makes the total setup to be 4. On this other side we have a total of 7 speakers now. We have one right here, we have another one here, and then the remaining 5 speakers are right at the center of this bar. The bar is not that quite, the thickness is not that much because it's standard across all bars, and as usual I normally tell you in these reviews that it's somehow sort of a standard thickness for most sound bars, around 6 centimeters, sorry, so that even the thickness does not overshadow where we have the sensor of the TV, because in most scenarios the bar will always be placed right on top of a TV stand with the TV right on top of it, so it has not to be so thick so as to obstruct the display for TV. That's why we have these standard dimension. They can mess around with this thickness on this other side and even the length, but they can't mess up with the thickness we have right over here. So that is how the design is. It's quite premium, guys. The feel on this bar is just quite so amazing. And we metallic wire mesh right over here just to protect the speakers, the drivers, from definitely physical defects and even pest defects, because the holes are so tiny enough to allow for sound escape, but not pests or any other thing that might want to enter through these parts to destroy the speakers that we have right over there. On top of it, this is how it is. We have the input source button there, we have the volume up and volume down button, we have LED indicator here, we have 2 microphone ports here, one is here and then another one is here. These ports, microphone ports, just helps with the calibration of the bar, so that when you're doing automatic sound calibration, the sound emanating from the bar will come straight right into the bar, to this part, so that it gets to detect the sound levels that the bar is supposed to play in the room that it's fitting. Then we have the JBL logo right over here. At the back of it, guys, this thing is quite massive, it's quite heavy, and to be honest, can't lift it with a single hand because it's quite heavy. Then this is the power port right over here. It goes in through here. It uses direct power supply for AC from the socket right over here, and not as Samsung that normally have that adapter to convert the power from AC to DC before it gets into the bar. So here is the direct power supply, and we have the power port right over there. Here we have the USB port, and this port is for a scenario we have to test the port, because in most of the case this port is just placed here to enable updating software or servicing port on this particular soundbar, and sometimes the MP3 or media playback feature on this port is not normally enabled. We have Ethernet port just to connect the bar to internet, so that you can configure it with all your other electronic devices that use internet through this port right over here. And then you have HDMI port 1, HDMI port 2 and HDMI port 3. These ports are normally helpful if you want to connect your soundbar to things like PlayStation or any other electronic device that has HDMI, and maybe you want to transfer the sound to this part. But now this is the most important section for TV users. If you want to connect your soundbar to TV, you have 2 special ports here. You have the optical port right over here, and then you have the HDMI ARC port. Remember, these are the best ports to transfer the sound quality, the exact sound quality from your television right onto this bar. So if you're watching a movie, let's assume maybe on Netflix, that has Dolby Atmos support on it, for you to transfer that Dolby Atmos quality or sound to the bar, you have to use these 2 ports, especially the HDMI ARC port. Here you'll get the sound, exact sound without losing quality, so that you can experience the Dolby Atmos capability on this particular bar. And remember, even though we have these upward firing speakers on this bar, they normally don't function, the upward speakers, especially the ones you have right over here, unless they're triggered by a Dolby Atmos content onto the bar, and that means it won't be through Bluetooth. You have to do that through the HDMI ARC port we have right over there for you to get to have a proper listen and that Atmos sound. Right underneath it here Remember, these rear speakers, they get stuck here through magnetic capabilities. That's why the grip is quite strong. Then we have these mounting holes for the speakers. And then for the bar, we have mounting holes right underneath it here. See, this is where you mount them. If they're not placed on a table, because this is a rubber surface too. If you mount it, you mount it through this hole, and then another one here. Our particular version is not boxed because it was a used model. If you get a new one, then the packaging comes with the mounting brackets, so that won't be an issue to you if you get a new one. Then here we have all the other support features for this particular bar. Right here you can see it supports DTX-X. We have Dolby Audio, Dolby Vision, Dolby Atmos. This soundbar actually supports all formats of music, all formats of operating systems that we have from our device. If you have Android device, we have Chromecast inbuilt here. If you're using iPhone, we have AirPlay right here. We have Alexa, all those music applications that are supported by this particular soundbar. And that's why it's a very, very versatile soundbar. Here we have just writings for the particular model of this soundbar. It's written in different languages. You can see the first part, because it's in English, this is the only part you can read. It's multi-channel soundbar with wireless subwoofer. You can see. Then right over here we have a special port for servicing. See, it's written service only. So in case you need to service this particular bar, we have the port here, and it's very special. This is not common. I know you don't have these in your house. Anything that enters through here, this is just for manufacturers. That's why it's there. Just the same way we had those indicators right on the main bar, we have them right here. And then on the other bar, on the other surround speaker, we also have those stickers where we have those what do you call these things, guys, that are not important to us today. And now guys, this thing is so heavy. It's actually I can't. Okay, let me just put it down here. This is how the remote is. You can see how the build is. It's quite premium. I love premium remotes. Even the hold on the hand, the grip is quite okay. Functionality, we have the TV button, we have the Bluetooth button there, we have the HDMI button. I'll show you how all these buttons actually work in the next few minutes. We have the bass, rear, calibration button, and the play button, volume up and down. Yeah. Again, something that you have to remember is this, because they're magnetic. This lower part is magnetic, so it can stick on any other surface that is magnetic. Like right on top here, because it's magnetic, can stick on. You can stick it there like that, and this other one cannot get stuck to that point. But this is not the right positioning angle for these speakers. I've just placed it there as an example, just to show you the magnetic capabilities, and it's quite strong. See, it's quite strong. And now on the remote control, we have some other functions that these functions are only enabled when the surround speakers are detached from the main bar. Like for example, the rear speaker control right over here, and then the Dolby Atmos control capability, and even the calibration capability. So now that they've detached, let me show you how that works. So on the bar, okay, let me just pause that a bit. So what you do is, when you press on the rear speaker icon, this one, the rear button on the remote, if you press on it, there are three different levels. The first one, the first one is mute. You can mute the rear speaker so that they don't sound at all. And then if number two, you can click on it to have it on low mode so that they are sounding but at low volume. If you press on the rear button again, you have mid, so it means they are at moderate volume. And if you press on them high now, they are closer to the same volume as what we have on the main bar right here. For this other functionality here, we have the calibration part, this one here. So if you click on calibration here, you see it's written calibration. So what you do if you want to calibrate the system is just long press on it like that. Okay, first let's click on it like that. You see, so it's written calibration, and then give it time, then it's saying press again. So if you press again, it will start calibrating the speakers. So let's give it time. There's a count of 5 to 1. So yeah, it's calibrating this one. See, over here, over here. So once calibration is done, it will indicate here that calibration done. So unless you want to calibrate again, but after that, now just press to exit calibration process. You can just press on any other button on the remote to exit. So after that, you've now exited calibration. What calibration does is that it configures all the speakers to your room environment, so as to ensure whenever you're listening to a sound that you want to sound, at least the Dolby Atmos sound to be specific, you'll get to have that proper and clear surround emanating from the speakers. That's why the calibration capability is actually important on this. Something I was forgetting to show you about these surround speakers. Remember, I just mentioned the weight and how big they are. We have a button here to turn them off manually through this button. If you don't want this surround speaker to work, just press on this button here and it will turn off. And now that it's on, it's indicating white to mean it has paired with the main bar. If they're not pairing, here you'll see it blinking. The white light will be blinking to indicate that they're not connected to the main bar. This is where they normally charge with. If they're interlocked onto the main bar, they charge through here. And remember, they take around 3.5 hours to fully charge these two surround speakers on the main bar. If you don't want them to charge through the main bar, you can also charge them through this port we have over here. We have a USB-C port here to charge the speakers. If you've decided to place them permanently away from the main bar and to a certain position, then you'll have to look for a Type-C charger for them to charge at those particular positions that you've placed them. So that is how they are. And whenever the battery levels go down, you'll be able to see battery indicator right over here, and even the LED display that you have over here will be indicating to you that the rear speakers have low battery. And on full charge, after 3.5 hours of fully charging the rear speakers, when you touch them, they can give you up to 10 hours of listening to music, depending to the volume levels that you'll be listening to music at with on the soundbar. So let me just clip them back. That is not for there. So it just clips in quite easily. See? Then this other side. The grip is quite okay and strong. They don't get detached easily without applying much pressure on the rear speakers. So right here we have a massive subwoofer that weighs 10 kgs, very, very heavy. The finishing is quite premium. It's on top here, it's like a square, and then we have the height. So the dimension here we have like this is close to 30 centimeters. Then here we have 44 centimeters for the height. It's quite massive, quite lengthy. Then at the bottom of it we have our main driver right here. This is a 10-inch subwoofer. It's very rare to come across a soundbar that has quite or such a big driver for its subwoofer. And most of the soundbars that we've reviewed, they have 8 inches, 6.5 inches subwoofer, but here we have a 10-inch subwoofer, quite big. And underneath it here we have these plastic cones and these special rubbers just to ensure that we have proper grip on where the bar is placed. And remember, this is a down-firing subwoofer. JBL have their reason as to why they decided to have a down-firing subwoofer, because most of the stock brand sound companies like Sony, Samsung, their subwoofers are normally forward firing and not downward firing as the one we have on JBL. Let us know in the comment section which one you think is better, having it downward firing or sideways or forward firing as we have on the other soundbars. Then this is the port, the breather over there. And here we have that pairing icon in case your subwoofer is not pairing to the soundbar. This port or this button here becomes so crucial and handy for you. This is the power button for the subwoofer. It's also AC, direct power supply. So we have these particular subwoofers motherboard in here, and its sound quality, it's independent of the bar because all the controls are right here. The only thing you can be able to control from the bar is the bass level, upwards or downwards, but all the sound engineering for the subwoofer happens inside here. Once again, here we have the some of the features that we have on this particular bar. And I remember saying it was taking me, so it's quite heavy. Lifting it up with a single hand is quite tricky. Yeah, it's also massive. The bar itself, it's a bit weighty too, 3.7 kilograms, so heavy. And these detachable speakers each are around 1.3 kgs, 1.3, 1.7, so they're a bit heavy too. We're dealing with something quite massive here. That is how the JBL Bar 1000 looks like. Remember, once again I said here it was 300 watts. On the bar is the bar itself without the detachable speakers is 440 watts, and then plus the detachable speakers, now we have a total of 880 watts on this whole setup. Now let's test it, we see how it sounds. Unfortunately for the Dolby Atmos part, we're not going to be able to test it because we don't have HDMI ARC connection right on this one, because through Bluetooth it's not possible. But now we just do the normal sound test. We feel how the subwoofer rumbles. And I'm going to remove the subwoofer on top of the table because right there it's not quite good for it. We have a down firing subwoofer. I'll just place it somewhere there, then we do the sound test. So let me just adjust the setup. So once you power on the bar, this is what you see on the display. Now it's on, and it goes directly to the previous Bluetooth connection it was connected on with. See, it's already connected to the Bluetooth device that I connected it previously with. And on the remote, as I tell you, I was going to show you, for you to connect it to the TV, the HDMI ARC port, yeah, or the optical port, you just press on here, and then now you have the TV function being displayed there. Then remember, the back of it we have 3 HDMI ports. So if you press on the HDMI part, now you'll be able to use the 3 HDMI ports that we have, apart from the one that we had encircled with the optical port right over here. So for you to use these parts here, you press on the TV part, but for you to use these other HDMI ports, you press on the HDMI function right over here. For you to connect your soundbar to Bluetooth, you either long press on the Bluetooth, you press on here the Bluetooth icon on the remote towards the LED indicator, long press on it until you see it's written Bluetooth pairing. So let's give it time, you see, yeah, so it's written Bluetooth pairing. If you don't have the remote, all you have to do is just come here, press on the functions button, this one here, and then change the functions, TV, and then once you are in the Bluetooth mode, Bluetooth here, long press on it. You long press on it until you see it's indicating Bluetooth pairing. Once it's writing here pairing, it means now you can be able to connect a JBL soundbar to any other Bluetooth device. Once it's written here pairing, and once the connection is paired, you'll see here it's written. You'll see here written maybe Bluetooth ready, or you'll be able to see the Bluetooth device you've connected your soundbar with being indicated right over here, the name of the Bluetooth device that has been connected to it. Here we have other functions like the Dolby Atmos function right here, and this button only functions once you've detached these surround speakers from the main bar. And also with the one we have right over here, the rear speaker, they can't function right now. If I press on it, you see it's writing unlock the rear speaker, so I have to unlock them for it to work. Here we have the calibration, just to calibrate the bar. Again, that one won't work unless you detach the rear speakers. And then we have this, just the play icon. This play icon is helpful in a manner that if maybe you're playing a sound from your Bluetooth device and you only have the remote to control what's it's playing, if you press on it once, it will play or pause, and if you press on it twice, you'll be able to go to the next song that's on the playlist, and if you press on it 3 times, you'll be able to go backwards. So it's a quite important button we have right over there. This is volume up and volume down button, very common. I know most of us know how to use this. So that is how the remote is. And because we want to do our sound test first with the surround speakers attached, and then the next part will remove the surround speakers, we get to listen at how they sound. So let's get right into the sound test that we've been waiting for the longest time. And guys, just before I do a sound test on this one, I have a disclaimer. The maximum volume level we have right over here is see, the maximum volume is, let me just take it up. So the maximum volume you can see is 32. So that is the maximum volume on this particular soundbar. It doesn't mean that it's not that loud, but they just compress the volume range so that you don't have that wide range as what you normally have on some other soundbars going up to 100. And this is quite helpful because for you to adjust the volume, you just need to, a single click will give you a bigger difference in volume change. So I think that's a plus for this. And for a case scenario, we are in a very small room right over here, guys. And I tried. Actually, I wanted to do a maximum volume test on this particular soundbar in this room, but it wasn't possible because this thing is very, very massive and it needs a bigger space than what you have right over here. That's why I'm going to do this sound test at quite lower speed volume. And even 18 is quite much, but let's give it a try at 18. So let's do this, guys. Remember, there's this button here for bass that I didn't show you on the remote. This button is, it helps you regulate the bass level. So like right now you see, we have volume level bass being 1, the maximum being 5. So we have level 3, level 4, and then level 5 as the maximum. If you press on it again, it goes back to level 1, see? Yeah, so I think for the first sound test, let's place it at level 1. And then we'll do level 4. I'll just do those 2 tests, guys. So at level 1, let's do the sound test. Let's do the sound test at that's volume 25 and adjust the volume of the subwoofer to its maximum. That is level 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Are you ready for this, guys? So the next part of this review, we are going to do your sound test with the rear speakers or the surround speakers detached from the main bar. For them to function, you have to detach all of them. So, and this is the right placement. Wherever you're placing them, you have to place them like this, because remember we have this upward firing Dolby Atmos speaker right here, and then this other one, I'm just going to place them right there. So this is the right placement. You can place them at this particular angle, any angle that you want, but just ensure that they lie on their back like this wherever you place them. So we have the front firing speakers right over here, and then we have upward firing speakers right there. So that is the setup. Let's give it a test one more time. This is one of the only soundbars that have true wireless connectivity or wireless speakers, because some of these soundbars we reviewed, they're wireless. The connectivity is wireless. Maybe from the back to the subwoofer it's wireless. But for the surround speakers, you find them still having wires. Example, for the Samsung one, you have to do with a lot of cabling, because each and every wireless speaker has its own power cable injecting to the socket. But in this scenario, you just charge the surround speaker right here, 3.5 hours, and you have 10 hours of wireless surround capabilities on your soundbar. Even though with the time the batteries on this particular surround speaker, the rear speakers, get worn out, but it's something that won't happen in a year or two. It takes a lot of time for the battery there to get worn out, so that is not a very big factor to maybe make you not purchase this particular soundbar. And even if the battery gets to wear out, you just find a way that you directly plug in the power supply Type C to the rear speakers on the position where you decided to place them on. So it's not something I find disadvantageous. It's just good. This particular soundbar just ticks all the boxes I want for a soundbar. If you're not going for the heavy receiver sound system that are quite bulky, quite expensive, then I think JBL is a very good alternative to such a setup, because in terms of home theater system, the traditional ones, soundbars, this is way above the rest. And as for the subwoofer, you realize during the sound test, I was not able to go past 25, volume 25. The maximum volume we have is 32, but I was not able to go past volume 25 on maximum subwoofer level, that is volume 5 for the subwoofer, because it was way quite deeper. The room was shaking. It's a small room, and for the first time testing a soundbar, I was not able to test it at its maximum volume. Believe me guys, it's quite impossible for you even to listen to this particular soundbar if you have it in a small room. It won't be quite accommodating. The deepness, the rumbling, it's quite too much. It's quite too much on this one, so it needs a really big space for it to, for you to enjoy it. If you have a small space, then you'll probably be operating this particular soundbar volume 15, 16, and that's not what it was meant for. So guys, we've come to the end of this particular review of the JBL Bar 1000. Let me know in the comment section what you think about this bar. Given a chance, or given the financial capabilities, will you go for this soundbar, or maybe you'll go for a different brand, either the one from Samsung or the highest one from LG? Have a look at how simple this particular bar is. You've heard how the bass quality is, because to be honest, I've reviewed so many soundbars, and honestly speaking, in terms of subwoofer deepness levels, if you want something that can rumble the room or shake wherever place that you are in, then none of them, and if I'm wrong, correct me in the comment section, none of them comes closer to the subwoofer bass deepness, bass level of any particular soundbar. Yeah, leave alone the other sound system, like for the sound receivers and the others. Soundbars, we are talking about soundbars. None of them has a deeper bass, better or so good compared to the one we have for this JBL. As for the surround speakers, they might be quite low, but if I were asked to rate them on a scale of 10, I'll give them 9, because I don't see anything wrong, but definitely they're not that perfect. They're equally good. I think this is something that you should give a chance if you had the ability to. Let me know in the comment section if you already have this particular soundbar. What do you love about it, and what do you hate about this particular JBL Bar 1000? Otherwise, thanks for watching this video to this point, and ensure you stick around by subscribing to this account, because I'm actually planning to bring a competitor of this particular soundbar to this channel. That is the Samsung Q990F model. I hope very soon I'll bring it here and we'll do a sound comparison of it. Otherwise, for today, don't forget to leave a like as usual, and don't forget to subscribe. Keep safe, stay healthy. Let's meet next time. Bye bye.